#1 automotive sales podcast. Broadcasting around the world. 100% positive mindset on making over $100K a year. You want to make more money and close more car deals while keeping a positive mindset. This is the show for you. Broadcasting around the world. This is the Automotive Architect Sales Podcast with Ron Garverick.
Welcome to another episode of the Automotive Architect Sales Podcast. Thank you for joining me today, ladies and gentlemen. I've been talking about having this guest on for so long. And every time we had the opportunity, we had a hiccup somewhere. If it was scheduling or it was COVID or if the internet fiber was cut and my internet went out. So we tried to attempt this so many times, and I have the opportunity to have this guest on as we speak. But I couldn't do this without sponsors. And the show is brought to you by Dealer Elite. It is the most recognized automotive social network in the world. Sign up today and engage with the best and brightest in our industry. And also another sponsor is ZipDeal. Improved profitability through an enhanced customer experience. ZipDeal's delivery system streamlines the post-sale pre-F&I delivery experience by unifying the critical touch points that drive satisfaction every day. And also, Street Volkswagen of Amarillo. I'm actually here at work. Street Volkswagen of Amarillo has the all-new ID4. The ID4 is the all-electric SUV. Check it out today. Go to www.streetvw.com. Well, my guest, I'm glad to have her on today because she is such an inspiration, not just on Clubhouse. That's where I first got to notice this individual, this guest, and it's Audrey McKinley. She is an expert in the automotive industry, the founder of the Auto Network Consulting and myautoprotect.com. Now, she is a national trainer and F&I expert. So we're going to get really depth in talking about some F&I stuff. She began her career over 30 years ago, guys, and working in every role within the retail space and climbed up the corporate ladder. What? A female climbing up the corporate ladder? Yes. And she is a pioneer in the automotive industry. She started as a receptionist in a large dealership after graduating from the University of California, Irvine. She quickly was recognized and promoted inside the organization. She's excelled as a contract administrator, car saleswoman, finance manager, and finance director. She also developed the special finance and internet departments for top performing dealerships. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to finally get her on the show, Miss Audrey McKinley. How are you?
I'm good, Ron. How are you?
Man, going through the months trying to get you on the show, COVID was attacking you, schedules were attacking us, and then the last time we tried to get you on, that internet problem. But finally, I was so excited that I knew I was going to have to be at work today, and then I'd get you on because I know the dealership internet's working fine. So I'm happy to get you on. So
I didn't know you lived in the woods.
I didn't get it on till 9:00 that evening. And the funny thing is, I had another interview to do at 10:00 that night. So finally it turned on, and I had the opportunity to do the podcast. So I'm excited.
How fun. So are we live right now?
We are live.
Oh, hello, everybody out there in TV land. This is great. No, I know. What a wonderful introduction you gave me, Ron. And it's my honor to be on your show. And I know that we tried so many times to connect and talk and yeah, COVID and just life. And so I am honored to be on your show. I'm honored to serve, pick my brain, whatever.
The good thing about it, when you think about people being in the automotive industry, you think about men being in the automotive industry. You seldom see women in it unless you're a receptionist or you're working in the back office. So it's awesome to see someone like you start as a receptionist and move all the way up to a finance director. And the reason I said it, this was the very first dealership that I ever worked at that I seen a woman in a manager position. And when I was talking to the GM about it, he said, if I had my choice, all my managers would be female. And he said, the reason is you feel more at home if you're dealing with a female manager than you would, an old scruffy old man back in the 80s as being your sales manager, because they have that motherly aspect of them. So I really didn't think about that till he said it. And I'm like, I can always go to Janine if I ever have a problem. And if I'm having a bad day, I can always go to her, and she makes me feel like I'm talking to my mom, and she makes everything better because her perspective on things are way different from a man. So if you're having a bad day, they tell you go in the back and just beat the crap out of the guy. But if you talk to a female, she's like, they're probably having a bad day. You just need to talk to them and see if you guys can come to a solution. And you never think of it that way, but you go to your dad, he says, go and take him in the back, beat him up. You go talk to your mom, and she tries to compromise and get you two together and make things a lot better. So I think it's awesome. And the one thing is, you've been doing this for 30 years. Why this? Why the automotive industry? What intrigued you to become a professional in the automotive industry?
So what you don't know about me is that my father was a car dealer. And when I was growing up, I remember, when I was growing up, he was a car salesman. On my birth certificate, it says, it has a space for your father. What is his role in work? And it said car salesman on my birth certificate. On the mother's side, it doesn't even have a space. Isn't that crazy? I was born in 1969, and I think things have changed because they have 2 slots for men and women now. So my father was selling cars, and I watched them. I love that you're on the screen, Ron, because I love to look at someone. Okay, so stay there. But so my dad would go to work and come home, and he was a top selling salesman at a Chevy dealership in Los Angeles, California. We lived in Inglewood. And he would come home in a Corvette because he would be a top salesman. And at that time, you could bring home the car. You could drive a demo. So and any car you want. So he would drive a Corvette. And I remember it was like a fuchsia, purpley looking Corvette. Anyways, so I knew that's what he did. I was a young girl. When you're really little, you don't know what your parents do. When my parents got divorced, my father moved to Texas, and I was in California. I always wondered, what is this man doing, and how does he make a lot of money? Because he made a lot of money. And so my opportunity, I knew, well, geez, he's making a lot of money. I've been selling clothing, and I sold shoes, and I've been selling since I was 7 years old, Ron.
Right.
Selling cookies on the side of the road. And I knew that he made a lot of money, and I knew I loved to deal with people. And I knew I could sell cars. It's in me. And so I went to a car dealership my last semester at the university, and I wanted a part-time job. So I went and I went straight into the dealership, this little 21-year-old girl, and went straight to the tower. I'm just going straight to the tower. I was bold, and I walked up to the tower, and there were all these sales managers there. And they said, how can we help you? And I said, well, I'm looking for a job. And they said, oh, really? I said, yes, I want to sell cars. And they all started to laugh.
That's
Meet Robert. He's in his office and using his phone. An ad pops up on his phone screen regarding a car dealership. Robert has been looking at buying a new vehicle. They ask a few questions about him. Robert receives email and SMS from them. He went to the car dealer. The salesperson there is already notified on his computer. Robert had already booked his test drive through the AI technology in the ad. He really likes the car and bought the car. Robert is happy. Robert receives over the course of the next 2 months follow-up SMS and emails from the dealership. Welcome to Pinnacle Online Marketing Agency. We create AI chatbots to qualify and automatically book appointments and take finance applications and set automation campaigns for follow-up via SMS, email, and messenger to increase revenue and customer CSI. We will help you with lead generation, sales funnels, and nurturing sequencing. Our team is comprised of ex-dealership managers. We know the industry and what's needed. Book a free marketing audit and consultation.
When you get to that, when people start laughing, that makes you have the more fire to show them up, right? That gives you more determination. So that probably was a key to going, no, you're laughing at me, but who's going to laugh last?
Yeah, I thought to myself, well, they don't even know me. So whatever, you guys are schmucks. I'm out of here. So I turned around and I started to walk away. And this man taps me on the shoulder. He's like, hey, are you really serious about wanting a job? I said, yeah. Hey, who are you? Mind you, I'm 21 years old with this spunk in me. I'm like, fireball. And he says, I said, yeah, who are you? And he says, I'm the general manager. And I'm like, okay, all right. Well, yeah, I am interested. Are you wanting to hire me? And so guess what job he gave me, Ron?
Lot porter.
The girl's job. So I was the receptionist, and I don't know if you've ever felt like I think I was classified that, we'll hire you and we'll make you a receptionist. So I was successful at that. I was the best receptionist they could have. And I knew that I wanted someone else. I was very intrigued in what everyone else was doing. A receptionist was not my place. Oh, no. And so I would spend my evenings helping the general sales manager. And I would help him with his reports, and I would help him filing things. And he said to me one night, he said, if you could have any job in this dealership, Audrey, what would it be? And I looked at him. I said, your job.
Yeah.
And within 30 days, I was transferred to Toyota of Cerritos. And at that time, it was it might be the largest store still today. It was the largest Toyota dealership in the country. Wow. It was bat to bat with Longo Toyota and Toyota Cerritos every single month, right? Mm-hmm. And so the actual finance director hired me as her assistant. And so I would look at contracts, 500, 100 cars on a weekend. The next day I had to look at all the contracts. So my career just shot up from there. Within 1 year, I was hired on. I was given a promotion to being a finance manager.
Wow, that's incredible. And it's funny when you said he asked you if you had any job in the dealership, which one would it be? And the correct answer is your job. Most of the time, dealerships that I was ever at, if you even mention that you wanted a manager's job, they would find ways to demote you or to sabotage your success because they felt threatened. And that's how I was when I was at my first dealership. I was always intrigued on knowing their side because we knew our side. Meet and greet all the way to the delivery and how to overcome objections. But I wanted to know the number side because we only had one GM and one finance manager. So I wanted to know the GM's job. So if anything happened, he was traveling an hour to and from work every day. If anything happened to him, the store still needed to run. There still needed to be somebody running the store. So at first, he felt threatened, but then he was like, no, okay, I'll teach you, which made him a lot lazier. So after 3 years, I became the GM of that store. But I like it. And even our owner today, at one time we had managers scared that I wanted their position, and I didn't want their position. And we all had to have a manager meeting. He goes, listen, Ron don't want your job. Ron don't want your job. If he wants anybody's job, he wants mine. And I was like, whoa, I don't want your job. I don't want your. So after everybody left, I walked in. I said, John, why'd you say that? I don't want your job. He goes, why not? Why wouldn't you want my job? And he goes, everybody in this dealership should want my job. He goes, because I won't be here forever. So I'm building something for you guys to continue to run after I'm gone. And I was like, that's incredible.
Well, I think that's the important part of today of aspiring new leaders. It's you have to dream and have a pathway to success. You
Yeah.
want to know that if I'm going to start as the lot porter, what is my trajectory of my future? What does this pathway to success look like? What do I need to do to be like you?
Yeah.
People need others to model. And at that time, I did have people that were willing, because I had a spirit of not wanting to sabotage what they were doing. I wanted to help them.
Yeah.
And by being by their side, at the time when I was a finance manager, leases were brand new in the industry. People didn't know. A sales manager who knew how to sell cars didn't know. They relied heavily on finance managers to guide. We didn't have the world of dealer track today and all that fun stuff. They relied on people like ourselves, the finance manager, to tell them what the banks would do, to tell them what the rates would do, to show them how to properly structure the deals. I think finance managers we've created very lazy finance managers today. That's my opinion.
Right.
They should know. A successful and a top tier level finance manager today should know they should know the bank's programs more than the bankers.
Right.
And so when leases came out, the sales managers, they didn't know what is a residual money factor. I mean, maybe at a team of 5, one knew. So I became the person that would help them. Let me help you. Let's figure this out together. By doing that, Ron, what did it do? It took me to the next place and to the next place. I was running departments in 2000, creating internet departments, because no one knew what this world of internet was.
Right.
And so they're like, well, she's a little computer savvy. Let her try it.
Yeah.
Throw her over there. And it became this monster of a business model where we would produce 50 more cars out of that department by just picking up the phones and talking to people and being there for them to guide them through this new way of doing business.
Wow. That is incredible. We're going to take a short break, guys. We'll be right back after these moments.
Discover your daily deal at the dating site for automobiles, StreetVW.com. Here's General Manager John Luciano.
You can save thousands on this showstopper, the revved-up Volkswagen Atlas Crossport, or get ultra-low monthly payments on all new and used vehicles, like on the Volkswagen Atlas. And remember, many Volkswagen vehicles are famous for outstanding fuel economy.
And meet the Volkswagen ID4. This affordable electric SUV is going to change everything. Hurry and discover your daily deal now at StreetVW.com. Street Volkswagen of Amarillo, 5000 South Soncy.
I'm always on the go, so I listen to podcasts to improve my sales business. And I listen to The Automotive Architect with Ron Garbrick. When I want to mind my business, he's the one I go to.
All right, welcome back to the Automotive Architect Sales Podcast. We have Audrey McKinley on the show, and we're talking about moving up the corporate ladder inside the dealership. How easy is it for men to move up the corporate ladder? But the question is, how hard is it for a female to move up? Now, there's a lot of pioneers already in this industry that are females, and they're paving the way for the younger women to move up. You've been in it for 30 years. What struggles have you seen or experienced in the industry since you've been in?
You want to tell me, you want me to spill my guts? No.
I want you to be completely honest.
Yeah. Ron, it has been a whirlwind. It's been a life experience, and I wouldn't change it, because I know that the hard work, the paving of the way, maneuvering through hardships and trials and being, turned down because I don't know. I'm never going to know if I was turned down because I just wasn't fit for the role, or I was turned down because I didn't fit the model of a male. There are many trials that I've gone through that have made me stronger to who I am, to the person that I've become today. I was in a working for corporate America. And I know that I was really good at what I did. I was number 3 in the country. In the country, top level tier account executive. I mean, and there was probably 80 of us. Okay. Wow. So when you get to that place, you don't get there because you're just looking pretty. Okay. Because you have to maintain your clientele.
Right.
You have to build an organization, a team. You have to build a network of clients. And on our clients were dealerships. I worked for an OEM. And I think that when you get to that place, your voice should matter.
Right.
But in this case, the people that I worked for, prime example, my manager would say, "Shh, quiet. You're in the back of the bus." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" He knew I knew the answers, and it's not that. I don't know. I mean, those kind of things happen. How you respond, how you react, what you say next matters. And in many cases, I had to button my lip and not challenge back. And I would just take it. And I'm a woman of faith, Ron. And for me, having that strong faith and knowing that I had to be still. I wear a ring and it says, be still and know. Psalms 46:10 says, be still and know. And in my case, I would have to just like humble myself and because I wanted to go off.
Right.
And I just knew that there would be a time, right? And there's a time for everyone. There's a space for everyone. And it's just when. And you have to be confident in knowing that you do know what you're doing and just wait. And sometimes that waiting will pay off big.
And waiting has a lot to do with faith, and you're huge in your faith. God's a big part of your life, and if you check out your website, I mean, you have Bible verses in there and whatnot, and it's inspiring because everybody knows that I've had my issues with God and stuff that's happened in my life, but I've overcame them once I finally decided to open my heart and open my soul to Him. And just, I was already at the bottom of my life. I was rock bottom. And every time something went wrong, I blamed Him. And then one day I just opened up my arms and I said, if it's meant to be, it's going to be up to me and you. And I need you to guide me. I need you. If I'm supposed to be on rock bottom, then so be it. But if I have a better purpose, a greater purpose in my life, I need you to show me now. I need you to show me where I need to go in my life. And I forgive you. I know that I was mad at you, and I know you're going to forgive me, but I can't do this on my own. And ever since that day, He brought my wife into my life in 2008. And some people don't know that I was on my second DUI. I had no home. I had no car. I was partying every night. She came into my life and she said, we're not doing this. And that was 14 years ago. And step by step, we have grown into the walk with God. And where I am today isn't because Ron Garverick did it by himself. Is Ron Garverick was walking with God to make me a better person today. And I love everything that you have on your website. One thing that I want to pinpoint when you go to Audrey's website, the pathway to the land of milk and honey. Explain what that means so everybody can understand.
Well, it's my book that's coming out.
What? You got a book coming out? Guys, check out this book. It's going to be very inspiring. I'll be the first one to buy it. So you tell me when it's coming, I'll buy it.
Amen. Thank you, Ron.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, the pathway to the land of milk and honey was a revelation that really transpired in my life. It was like, I know that moment, like what you just shared about that transformational moment, that pivotal moment that you said, God, I cannot do this alone. I need you. And I give up, like you handle it. Right. And I got to that place. I was not happy in my career. I was not happy in the workplace that I was at because I felt so unheard, ununderstood, and not appreciated. And I just knew that I was created for so much more. And I had not worked this hard for 20 plus years at that time to be just thrown away and say, you don't matter. And that's okay. That was my moment where I had to walk into my purpose. I had to walk away from everything that I thought was. You know, sometimes you think being in the career that's paying you multi six figures is you've arrived. And until we truly surrender and know what is it that I was truly created for, you'll never know.
Right.
So I came to that pivotal point, Ron, where I was broken, not happy, unsatisfied at my job. And I said, God, I know that there's a better plan for me. And so in my book, you'll read it. It's when I had an encounter with God where I started reading the book of Moses and where, not the book of Moses, the chapter when Moses was given a promised land and he had to make a decision whether he was going to walk in fear or walk into faith. And there were 12 tribe leaders, and 10 of those tribe leaders doubted and feared the promised land that had been given to them. And there were 2 people, Joshua and Caleb, who said, if God goes before us, who can be against us? And so in that moment, when I was reading that, it was a transformational point in my life. God actually spoke to me and said, which one are you going to be, Audrey? Yeah. And if you decide that you want to be like Joshua and Caleb and enter in that promised land, you're going to have to leave your multi six-figure company and walk away and trust in me.
Yep.
I did. And I've never looked back. And so the pathway to the land of milk and honey isn't often easy. Some, it may take them 40 years. And some will just make that decision to stop what they're doing and walk into it because it's already a gift that's given to you. And I'm not talking about money. I'm not talking about how many handbags you have, how many Gucci's or Porsches or all that. That is just a bonus. I believe that on this earth, we will only taste the drips of honey. Because when I surpassed the 7-figure mark in my business, I thought, well, I had arrived. Wow. And God spoke to me again. He said, no, you have no idea how big my plans are for you. You've only tasted the drips. And I think when we die and we enter into perfection, into that heavenly place, that's where the land of milk and honey is.
A leader, someone that people can rely on to be coached. And, you know, you do that. You're a motivational speaker. You've been to events and spoke. And that's a wonderful thing when especially in this industry, everybody wants to speak. Everybody thinks they know what to say. And then they get on stage and it's just a bunch of rubbish. And so what I've enjoyed listening to on Clubhouse is your story never changes. Everything that you say never changes. So that shows that you're real. You're a person that is authentic is what I'm trying to get at. And I really enjoy, I'll stand in the back, in the bottom, and I'll just listen to what you have to say. I have an hour drive, so I just listen to what you have to say. But I also hear other people that become bullies, and you'll say something and they have a negative, okay? And what it's like the Eddie Haskell effect. And if people don't know who Eddie Haskell is, he was off Leave It to Beaver. He was that annoying little friend that they had. But it's how to overcome workplace bullies and gain your voice at the table. And even though you have people that were bullying you, and heck, I have people bullying me all the time on social media too, telling me to get a real job, telling me to that I suck. I'm not a motivational speaker. You know, they're being negative, and all I could do is smile. And I see this in our industry, people talking bad about others and bullying them. In all reality, the person that is bullying really has an issue with himself, and it's not with the person that they're trying to bully. And you have this Eddie Haskell effect on your website. Explain a little bit about the overcoming the workplace bullies, because we all experience it. How do you overcome it?
Well, I acknowledge that, like what you just said, that when a bully is bullying, they're hurting. And I know that term, hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
And I just have to have like more love for that person. And in some cases, like when you see someone fight back, like, you know, when there's a bully and you stand up to that bully, they're just really scared inside. There's something going on. They don't understand. Maybe it's something that you have that they want. They'll never admit it because they're walking in pride. Right. Mm-hmm. But I think that the bully, I see people getting bullied and I see in some of those rooms where you're just like, I got to stand up for that person. You know, and I have a heart for that. And so I'm kind of like that person that there was a dealership, okay, and there were these two guys that were fighting at the dealership for a deal.
Yeah.
They were on the showroom floor. You've seen it, right? When they're like, that was my deal. No, that was my deal. And they're going at each other. And I have no fear. I like literally got in between them, and I'm like, afterwards, I'm like, what was I thinking? I got in between them and I could have taken a shot at me, right? Yeah. Because I wanted to stand up and say, wait, you two care about each other. Why are you talking to each other this way? Something bigger is going on. Let's talk about it, right? And there's so many people that will just shoot out that little, that's the mama in me.
That's what you caught my smile when I said that.
Dude, I know how to read people. Like, you're like, there she goes. And then they like woke up and they're like, she's right. What are we doing? Let's talk about this. But like most people they walk away with the problem that they've been confronted in instead of going towards a problem. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's just like when someone says, no, I'm not interested. Oh, okay. Then they change the subject and they're like, well, I don't want to piss that person off. I'm going to talk about something else instead of going towards the problem and saying, well, you know, I'm really sorry you feel that way. Your no was very strong. Would you mind sharing with me why you're saying no to this?
Yeah.
Okay. It's the same thing with a bully. Hey, I'll stand up to a bully. And what is the problem here? And let's talk about it. There was this one guy. I was the rep for the OEM, and he was a director in finance. And when I would walk into the dealership, Ron, he would say, give me your phone. I'm like, okay. You know, he looked at my phone. He says, this is a big phone, like expensive phone. Let me see your watch. Take off your watch. And he would go, why do you have this watch? And I'm like, who is this guy? I would leave the dealership crying. Okay, I would leave inside. I would get in my car because he was just so challenging at me. And I would come home and I would tell my husband, and you know, my husband, he's like, man, I'm going to go. I'm like, I got it. So what did I do? I said to the guy, hey, we're having lunch tomorrow. I'm picking the place and we're going to have lunch.
Yeah.
Done. So, and he goes, you're paying? I go, yeah, I'm paying. Shut up. You know, bye, chick. So I go to lunch with the guy. I go, what's your problem, dude? Why are you so rough? You know, no one treats anyone like this. Well, I started crying. He started crying. And today we're like really good friends. Okay.
Wow.
And
sometimes you have to call them out. You know, I have a female salesperson, and she had like 18 and a half cars out. And I said, Pua, I just want to let you know, you're not selling cars. Customers are buying cars. And she thought I was being a bully. And man, I had her in tears. And I explained to her later on in one of my training sessions on if you're just getting these cupcake deals, you're getting these lay down deals, the customers are really buying, or you're not really selling, they're buying. When you get the hard customers and they leave and you don't take a TO, that's you selling. So you got to work harder on the customers that are giving you problems and giving you objections. Then that's when you start selling. Now she understood and she was like, "Oh, I just thought you didn't like me." I said, "No, I would have said it to John over here. The same thing." I said, "But what I was trying to get you to do is think about what I said. Customers are buying from you. You're not selling to them." And that made her sit back and go, "Okay, I want to learn every rebuttal there is." And I said, "But I need to know what your customers are telling you." Now we have this thing called Sales Society. Now, if in Masters, if you sell 45 cars in 3 months, you're put on the master list. So you move from 25 to 30%. She is our only female, the very first female salesperson that is on Masters. And I made a big deal about it. And when I made the big deal, I said, "Pua, you're selling cars. Customers aren't buying cars." And she got it. And I said, "It's because of you." She came from working at the front desk at a Holiday Inn, making less than $24,000 a year. She's been in this business right now for 6 months, and she's got $89,000 made.
Amen. So you know what you created in her? You know, she thought you were the bully. And
Mhm.
and if she's listening to this later, I commend her for actually looking at herself and saying, "I need to work harder and I need to read what he's saying." Many people do not want to take on a mentor, a coach, a leader, and you were trying to coach her and
Right.
challenge her, and not to bring her down, but to lift her up, right?
Exactly.
And so what she's done now is she's become an expert in what she's doing. She's not a she's she's now has confidence that she's built within herself, and that's elevating her to a top level performer. It's very important to ask questions and not be afraid to ask questions today. And I think when if there's a bully out there, hey, ask the bully, dude, like, what's your problem?
Yeah.
Talk to me. And it's either his problem, or there's something you've done to offend them that you want to overcome, or it's his own personal problem. And when you realize it's their own personal problem, you can walk away knowing that it's not about you, and
Right.
you can let it go.
Right. You know,
but you're the bully in this case.
I was the bully, but I was trying to make a point, and she understood. And after it was all done, she was crying. I mean, I had her crying because I told her by next year, after 2022, if I can't get her and these other sales professionals to make over $150,000 a year, I would quit. I would quit the automotive. Yeah. And I said, not because you failed me, is because I failed you. And I mean, tears was just pouring down her face, and she was just so emotional because she's never had anybody believe in her as much as I do. And I told her, I said, because if I don't get you to make over 150,000, I failed you, and I don't need to be in this business.
That's a true leader, Ron, right there. It's so not about you. It's about serving. And that right there, my friend, is the key to the pathway to the land of milk and honey. When we realize that it's such a bigger picture and we pour into people and help them become the best version of themselves. I see so many managers giving up on salespeople because they just say they're not cutting it. And they don't look at themselves and say, what have I not done? It's my fault that you're not succeeding. Absolutely. If you've given them if you've given that person your best and then they don't make it, then that's because they weren't designed for that. It wasn't their right purpose.
Right.
And it's our job to help them find that.
Exactly.
They leave this earth as a better human being because of that.
And then, and I don't want no praise or anything like that. I just want to see them succeed. Because when I got into the automotive industry, I had no trainer. I had no videos. I had a computer and a CRM, and I was told good luck. You know who trained me? Jim Ziegler, YouTube. Typed in how to sell cars off the internet or out of a dealership, and Jim Ziegler's video popped up. By the way, I have a conversation with him tomorrow via telephone because that story got linked to him. Now he wants to talk to me. So first time I will ever have the opportunity to talk to him after 11 years in the automotive industry.
That's awesome. We didn't have YouTube back then.
No, you didn't. You had what, Joe Verdi or
no, I had in my case we had Grant Cardone. Yeah. But I didn't really ever listen to any of their tapes. I actually started reading him later in life,
right.
Sell or Be Sold, and found his books very powerful. But we had little tape recorders, little hand camcorders.
Yeah.
And I would stand in front of the finance manager's office and record their conversations. And then I would go home and I would write out. I would hit play. I would hit pause. I would write out their script, hit play, rewind, hit play, rewind, hit play. And I would write out the scripts and I would memorize them.
You had to do stuff like that. But I remember watching the videos, go on pause, writing down what he said, hit pause again, listen to what they said, the objection, hit pause, write down how to overcome that objection. And I was told that I couldn't read any Joe Verdi books, any Grant Cardone books, any Jim Ziegler books, because that was a pay grade above me. I was told, hey, you need to watch this movie. It's called Suckers. You watch the movie Suckers, it will help you in the car business. I was told, if you watch the movie Suckers, I will fire you on the spot. So I went to Amazon that night and I bought the movie Suckers for $5.99 and I watched it. And I was like, so this is the car business. Wow.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
And if anyone watches that movie Suckers now, please, that is not the car business.
That's not how we act.
No, we have evolved and we've changed, and women are moving up in the automotive industry. My goal is to see more leaders, to hear more stories, and know that it comes down to talking to others. Ron, it's real easy. I'm stuttering. I stutter sometimes.
You're good.
So what happens is there's this perception, this is a guy's job, and then there's a girl that walks in. But if you just give that woman an opportunity to share her knowledge, you may see her just like you. We're the same.
We're equal.
We're different. I dress differently. I wear perfume. You wear cologne. I put lipstick on. I hope you don't.
Not on camera.
I put lashes on. I hope you don't. And I wear dresses, and I hope you don't. But we're the same, where the terminology and the experience, and we can both overcome objections, and we can both desk deals, and we both can talk. I think we need each other. Exactly. And I think that's important. Whether you see me as Mama Audrey or a competitor, I don't care. We're in this industry together to make it better and enriched.
It's
and
big enough for all of us.
Yeah, and we come to that understanding. I mean, we're going to be able to achieve so much more and see greater things for this industry that the dealership needs and deserves, and consumers as the same need and deserve it as well.
Absolutely. So, winding down, what are your goals for the next 5 years? And I always say goals are the greatest opportunity for anyone likely to succeed. 5 years down the road, where do you see yourself?
I see myself on the newsstand of every place you look, in Target and Walmart, as a best-selling author.
Barnes and Noble.
Yeah, well, yeah, if you go to Barnes and Noble anymore, but in Amazon. So I see myself as a person who wants to bring impact into the lives of others. And I want to encourage others to take that step in whatever it is they want, right, that they can achieve it, right? If you see it, you can believe it. If you visualize change happening and you take a step into that, stepping out of fear and into faith, you can have that too. I think that the promise that was given, the promise that was made to those in the Old Testament still stands true to today. That promised land that was made to those in the Bible is made to those here on earth. It was given to me. If he could do it for me, he can do it for you, and he can do it for anyone else. So I see myself as an influencer, a public speaker, a keynote, whatever. I'm doing all that now. I'm walking my purpose. I want to see many lives changed because I maybe talked to them a certain way, inspired someone. The riches, the houses, we have all that. You know what I'm saying? I've done all that. Got the house on the beach now, loving it, looking at the ocean. When I want to go to the beach house, I go and I open my back door and there's the ocean, right? Want to drive a nice car, drive a nice car. I think it's not about all that. That comes. It's about making a difference in someone's life truly. And that motivates me. I have a 15-year-old. She'll be 20 within 5 years. My hope is that that I can spend as much time influencing this beautiful person in my life, who I call my daughter, that God has given me that time with, right? Yeah. And that I could have that bond and connection that I can't get back. Awesome. And my husband, I want to grow old with him, as nutty as we are. And make a difference in people's lives. That's what I want, Ron.
That's all that matters is seeing other people grow. I told a group of people one time. Well, actually, I told my wife. She was like, "You're so invested in these people, they can't be as good as you." And I said, "I don't want them to be as good as me. I want them to be better." And she blew away. We're like, wow, but I don't. I want to see people better than me, and that's why I push every day, and get on to them every day to push them further in this personal life, in their personal life or in their professional life, because I want to see them grow. I want to see them. I don't want them to be at rock bottom when they finally realize, oh, I need to get my act together. I want to help them now so they never see rock bottom. So,
Ron, can I say something on that? And that is so powerful. You want to help them now, but you don't want someone to see rock bottom. No. When we realize that life, is so short, that we have a span, let's just say eternity is for, you see a rope, you see this, wire on my computer desk. Yeah. And this wire here, it represents eternity. And our lifespan is a little notch of the plug. The
Yep.
lifespan is what we're looking for. But what are you going to do with this very small piece within your life? You
Yep.
have a given start date and end date, and what we do in the middle matters.
That is 100%. Well, how if somebody wants to get a hold of you, how do they reach out to you and have you mentor them or coach them or just have a conversation, woman to woman or man to woman, to
I have a lot more men calling me though.
to help you get to where they need to be in life?
I'm AudreyMcKinley.com. I'm on Instagram as Audrey _McKinley, Audrey.McKinley. I'm on LinkedIn, Audrey McKinley, and you'll see me with the little yellow face background behind my face. I'm on Clubhouse. Yeah, I'm on Google. People call me and I'm like thinking, how'd they get my phone number? You can find it. If you want to reach me, you can find me.
Awesome. Well, this episode was brought to you by Dealer Elite, the most recognized automotive social network in the world. Sign up today and engage with the biggest and brightest in the industry. Also, Garv Automotive, BDC, sales, finance, and management training. Go to garvautomotive.com. That's GARV as in Victor, automotive.com. Also, if you want some more of these episodes, go to YouTube, find Ron Garvrick, and also anywhere you listen to your podcast platforms from iHeartRadio, Spotify, Pandora, Audible, Amazon. Just type in the Automotive Architect Sales Podcast or go to the Manager TO Podcast. Audrey, it was wonderful having you on. We finally have you on. And it's been a pleasure and an honor to have you on today. I really do appreciate it. You are one of a kind. You are awesome. And I enjoy having this conversation with you. And I enjoy listening to you on Clubhouse.
Thank you, Ron. And then our next goal within the next 5 years would be to meet face to face.
Absolutely. 100%. Wrinkles and gray hair and all.
Everything. It's all included. It was my honor to be with you, Ron, and share this space with you. I'm here to serve, and call on me anytime. And I thank you so much for what you're doing, and we'll see each other soon.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
He has proven methods that really work. If you want to make more money, take these classes. He's intense, truthful, and he knows what he's doing. Check him out.
Ron Garvrick, man, where to start with this guy? I've had the pleasure of working under him for the past 4 years. He's my manager up at Street Volkswagen, and it's just been an amazing experience. I came in as a green pea with no experience, and he's went over and taught me a lot of great stuff with the car business, whether it's negotiating, trade appraisals, walkarounds, you name it. He's went over it with me, and I'm super appreciative. He brings a ton to the table, a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of experience. He's worked the desk. He's worked every position, BDC, sales. He's done everything in the dealership, so he has a wealth of knowledge, and, having those credentials behind him really solidifies what he's saying. He knows his shit. He's good at what he does. He's had results. So definitely listen to Rod Garvrick, man. I'm very blessed to have him at the dealership and be able to learn from him directly. So tons of good stuff. Can't wait for y'all to check it out.
You're listening to the #1 automotive sales podcast, the Automotive Architect Sales Podcast with Ron Garvrick. I walked into his office to quit car sales, and I walked out with a plan that made me a master salesman and a much better provider.